16-year-old Marcus Walker wasn't the type to stop for strangers. But on that windy Friday afternoon, while walking home from school, he noticed an elderly woman struggling with two heavy grocery bags outside a small neighborhood market. He slowed down, watched her arms tremble, then saw one bag slip and crash to the pavement. Cans rolled across the sidewalk. People walked past. No one stopped. Marcus hesitated, then stepped forward. "Ma'am, do you need help?" he asked quietly. The woman looked up, startled. She had kind eyes, silver hair tucked under a knitted hat, and a soft smile that looked worn with age and loneliness. "Thank you, dear. I didn't expect anyone to stop," she whispered. Marcus gathered the cans, picked up the bag, and offered to walk her home. It seemed like nothing, a small act on a normal day. But this simple moment would unravel a story no one in the neighborhood ever expected. And Marcus had no idea who this woman truly was. As they walked, Marcus noticed the woman moved slowly, favoring her right knee, pausing every few steps. He adjusted his pace without saying a word. "My name is Evelyn," she said with a gentle smile. "People around here don't talk much anymore. It's nice to see a polite young man." Marcus shrugged, embarrassed. "It's nothing, really." But Evelyn insisted otherwise. "You'd be surprised, dear. Small kindness is rare." Her house was older than he expected. A small brick home, paint peeling, curtains drawn tight as if shielding secrets. Yet when she opened the door, the inside was warm and spotless. "Would you like water?" she asked. Marcus politely declined and set the groceries on the counter. That's when he noticed the photographs. Dozens of them. Black and white frames of people shaking hands, standing at podiums, receiving awards. All of them featured the same young woman, Evelyn. But there was something strange. Marcus recognized one of the photographs from his history book. Before he could ask, Evelyn quietly said, "Thank you again, dear. Most people don't look closely anymore." Marcus walked home, thinking about the photos on Evelyn's wall. There was one in particular, a picture of her standing beside the governor, receiving a medal. He had seen that picture before, in his school history class. But the woman in the textbook was a civil rights worker who helped organize safe houses in the 1960s. Her name was listed as Evelyn Harper. That night, curiosity gnawed at Marcus. He opened his laptop, searched the name, and there she was, the same face, only younger. Evelyn Harper, activist, educator, one of the few who fought to establish community centers in dangerous neighborhoods decades ago. Marcus froze. This wasn't just a woman with groceries. This was someone who once changed people's lives. But why was she living alone in a small, worn-down home, with no mention of her anywhere now? And why did it seem like no one in the neighborhood knew her? Marcus didn't know it yet, but Evelyn had a reason for hiding a past like that. 3 days passed. Marcus couldn't stop thinking about Evelyn. He planned to visit again, but something unexpected happened first. His mother answered a phone call one evening, and her expression shifted from annoyance to shock. She handed him the phone. "Marcus, someone is asking for you." It was Evelyn. Her voice shook. "Dear, I hope I'm not bothering you. I just wanted to thank you again. Would you help me with something small tomorrow?" Marcus agreed immediately. But when he arrived the next day, he found her sitting on the porch with a stack of old newspaper clippings. "I'm sorting my things," she said softly. "I'd like someone trustworthy to help." Marcus sat next to her. The clippings showed marches, community meetings, interviews on black and white TV. Evelyn's name appeared again and again. But one headline froze him. "Local activist disappears from public eye after controversial case." Evelyn turned the page away before he could read more. "Some things," she said quietly, "are better left in the past." As the afternoon light faded, Evelyn asked Marcus to bring down a small wooden box from under her bed. He expected old letters or jewelry. What he found was different. Inside were dozens of envelopes, sealed, stamped, and never sent, each addressed to the same person, Daniel Harper, her son. Marcus hesitated. Evelyn's hands trembled as she took the box. "I wrote him every year on his birthday," she whispered. Marcus swallowed, unsure if he should ask, but Evelyn continued. "He left when he was young. Said he didn't want to live in a house where people came first and family came second." She blinked away tears. "I never sent the letters because I didn't know where he went." Marcus felt a heaviness in the room, a loneliness deeper than age. But then Evelyn surprised him. "You remind me of him, you know?" Marcus didn't know what to say. He only knew one thing. He needed to help this woman in more ways than carrying groceries. And soon he would discover why she had been hidden from history for so long. The next day, Marcus asked people around the neighborhood if anyone knew Evelyn Harper. The answers shocked him. "Evelyn? No idea. Older woman? House on the corner? Never talked to her. I didn't even know someone lived there." Marcus couldn't understand. How could a woman who once changed communities become invisible? He went back to her house that afternoon. She was sitting alone at the kitchen table with a cup of tea she wasn't drinking. "People move on," she said calmly, when Marcus told her what he'd heard. "They forget. The world gets louder, and quieter people disappear." Marcus saw the exhaustion in her eyes. Not physical, but emotional. But then she smiled faintly. "That's why your kindness mattered, dear. Not because of the groceries, but because you looked at me." Marcus felt something shift inside him. A responsibility, almost. He didn't want Evelyn to fade away. Not when she had a story worth remembering. And soon he would learn just how big her story truly was. Evelyn rarely talked about her past, but one evening Marcus found her revisiting an old newspaper clipping, the same one she tried to hide. He sat down quietly beside her. "It was 1968, Evelyn began, her voice steady but distant. The city was in chaos. People protested for jobs, education, fairness." She paused. "I helped organize safe houses for children. Many families were afraid to let them walk home. But then her tone changed. One night during a march, a young boy was injured, not by the protest, but by the police response. Her eyes lowered. They blamed me, said I provoked it, said I endangered children. Marcus felt a chill. "You didn't, right?" he whispered. Evelyn shook her head slowly. "I tried to protect them, but in anger, people choose simple stories." She folded the clipping. "That was the day I disappeared from the public eye." She looked at Marcus. "I didn't want my son growing up being the activist's boy, so I stepped back." It was the first time he saw her regret. A week later, while Marcus helped clean Evelyn's porch, someone knocked on the door. A well-dressed man holding a small folder. "Good afternoon," he said. "I'm looking for Evelyn Harper." Marcus froze. Evelyn rarely had visitors. She stepped outside slowly, her eyes narrowing in recognition. "Mrs. Harper," the man said, "I've been trying to reach you. We've received confirmation that you are the last surviving nominee for the Community Legacy Award." Evelyn shook her head sharply. "No, no awards. That part of my life is over." The man continued gently. "Ma'am, this is for work you did that saved lives. It's long overdue." Evelyn looked overwhelmed. Marcus saw her hands trembling. She hadn't told him everything, not even close. After the man left, Marcus turned to her. "Why don't you want recognition?" Her answer was quiet. "Because the only person I ever wanted recognition from never gave it." She meant her son. Marcus couldn't shake Evelyn's words. He wanted to help her reconnect with her son, if he was still alive. So he made a bold decision. After school, he visited the public library and searched every record he could find for Daniel Harper. There were dozens of results, but one stood out. A well-known community doctor in a nearby city. Same age group, same surname. Marcus hesitated. Was it possible? He wrote down the address, stared at it for a long moment, then showed it to Evelyn the next day. She went silent, not with shock, but with fear. "Dear, please don't get involved," she whispered. But Marcus shook his head. "You helped so many people. Someone should help you too." That evening, Marcus made up his mind. He would go talk to Daniel himself. He had no idea what this decision would start, but he felt it was the right thing to do. Marcus arrived at the address after a long bus ride. A large clinic, busy, modern, nothing like the worn-down neighborhood where Evelyn lived. He waited nervously in the reception line. When his turn came, he asked softly, "Is Dr. Daniel Harper available?" The receptionist raised an eyebrow. "Do you have an appointment?" "No, but it's important." She sighed, but moments later, a tall man in a white coat appeared. Calm eyes. Same face shape as Evelyn's, Marcus noticed immediately. "I'm Daniel," he said. "How can I help you?" Marcus took a breath. "It's about your mother." Daniel froze. His tone hardened. "I don't have a mother," he said quietly. "Not anymore." Marcus stepped forward. "She thinks of you every day. She has letters, dozens of them. She never stopped caring." Daniel's jaw tightened. He wasn't angry. He was hurt. "Why are you doing this?" he asked. Marcus's answer was simple. Because she deserves someone to show her kindness. And for the first time, Daniel didn't walk away. Daniel invited Marcus into his office. He closed the door slowly, as if locking away decades of silence. "Tell me everything," he said. Marcus told him about the groceries, the letters, the photographs, and the award she refused. Daniel listened without interrupting. Finally, he spoke. "I grew up lonely," he admitted. She was always organizing events, helping strangers, protecting people, but she wasn't there for me. Marcus shook his head. "She stepped back to protect you. She gave everything up for you." Daniel looked stunned. "You're saying she quit because of me?" Marcus nodded. Daniel leaned back, covering his face. He whispered, "I thought she abandoned me for her work." Marcus gently placed Evelyn's letter on his desk. "It was never like that." Daniel read the first lines. His hands began to shake. For the first time in decades, something inside him opened. He whispered, "I need to see her." The next afternoon, Evelyn sat on her porch, knitting slowly, when a familiar car pulled up. Daniel stepped out. She dropped her yarn. They stared at each other. Two people aged by time, hurt by misunderstandings, bound by love they never spoke of. Daniel swallowed. "Hi, Mom." Evelyn covered her mouth, tears forming. "I didn't think you'd ever come." Daniel stepped closer. "I should have come sooner." She hugged him, a hesitant embrace that grew into something powerful. Marcus stood near the porch steps, watching quietly. Evelyn turned to him. "You did this," she whispered. Marcus shook his head gently. "No, you both did." Daniel stayed for hours, listening to stories he never knew, reading the letters she never sent. And for the first time in decades, the house didn't feel lonely. It felt like a home. A week later, Evelyn received another letter, the award invitation she had refused. This time, she didn't refuse. At the ceremony hall, everyone stood as she entered. Old photographs of her activism were displayed on screens. People whispered her name, not with controversy, but with respect. Daniel held her arm, and Marcus walked proudly beside them. When Evelyn stepped to the podium, she paused, breath unsteady. "I didn't know," she began, "that a simple act of kindness would lead me here again." She looked at Marcus. "This young man reminded me that people still see each other." Then she looked at Daniel. "And my son reminded me that love is never lost, just misplaced." The audience clapped. Some cried. For the first time in years, Evelyn felt recognized, not for her past, but for her humanity. After the ceremony, a journalist approached Marcus. "Why did you help her?" he asked. Marcus smiled shyly. "Because she helped people long before I was born. It was time someone helped her." He didn't know it yet, but Evelyn requested something special from the award committee. A scholarship fund, named after him, the Marcus Walker Initiative for Youth Community Leaders. Marcus stared at the plaque in shock. "But I didn't do anything big," he said. Evelyn shook her head. "You did everything that mattered." Daniel put a hand on Marcus's shoulder. "You brought my mother back into the world. That's more than big." Marcus felt overwhelmed, not by fame, but by meaning. He had changed something, not through power, but through kindness, just like Evelyn once did. In the weeks that followed, Marcus visited Evelyn often. She taught him history, not from books, but from memories. Daniel repaired her house, painted the porch, fixed her fence, all the things he wished he'd done sooner. One evening, Evelyn said softly, "Marcus, you didn't just help me carry groceries, you carried me back into my own life." Marcus felt his chest warm. Daniel nodded, "And you brought me back to mine." It was true. A simple act, helping an elderly woman with 2 heavy bags, had repaired a broken family and revived a forgotten legacy. Stories like that don't happen often, but sometimes life surprises you. Evelyn passed away 3 years later, peacefully, with her son by her side and Marcus listed as family. Her scholarship now helps hundreds of teens begin community leadership careers. And every year, Marcus tells the story of the day he learned that kindness is never small. It can change lives, including yours.